welcome you very briefly to Liverpool today. Thank you all for coming here. I know a lot of you have travelled a very, very long distance. Some of you are literally halfway around the world. We'll come to that a little bit later on. For now, I would just invite Laura Pye, who's the Director for National Museums Liverpool, to say a few words of welcome.
Thanks, Christian. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Liverpool. I can't tell you how relieved I am that the weather is so beautiful today, because I've been up in this building a number of times, and I can tell you it's quite different in a storm. But it looks beautiful today, and we're really, really delighted to have you in Liverpool. Liverpool, of course, is a city with lots of museums, not just the 7 venues that National Museums Liverpool run, but we also have some other great museums in the city. So if you're here for a few days, the university, the Victoria Museum and Gallery is fantastic. Western Approaches have a really great site in Liverpool City Centre. The Blue Coast is one of the oldest art centres in the country. So there's lots of great venues for you to visit. I know that you will also get a chance to visit some of our sites at National Museums Liverpool. As I say, we have 7 sites. Sometimes I do a quiz and see if anyone can name all 7. You all look a bit scared by that, so I won't do that today. But we actually only have 5 of our museums open at the moment. So we have Museum of Liverpool, World Museum, Walker Art Gallery, the beautiful Lady Lever over on the Wirral, and Sudley House are the 5 venues we have open. We have the Maritime Museum and the International Slavery Museum down on the waterfront as well. And I'm sure when you're down at Museum of Liverpool tonight for your drinks reception, you'll walk past those venues and see very big hoarding that doesn't look so beautiful at the moment, but will look more beautiful by the time the Liverpool Football Parade happens here in the city in a few weeks' time. But we're doing a very big redevelopment down on that waterfront and developing the International Slavery Museum and the Maritime Museum sites. So there is a lot of work going on at the moment around actually the work that's happening at the moment very clearly links with the theme of your conference, because the work that's happening at the moment is all around the sustainability of those buildings. So although the redisplay is about exhibitions and design and all of that kind of thing, as anyone who's done a capital project will know, we are spending a huge amount of money on stuff that no one will ever see, but will make those buildings much more sustainable for the future, which is clearly really important to us as the beginning part of that work. And then we'll do the lovely stuff that will be the redevelopment of those museums and new gallery spaces and all of that kind of thing. So that will be beautiful, but won't be available for another probably 3 years. But there's still plenty for you to do. I know you've got some tours booked for tomorrow as well. So you've got some gallery tours with some of my colleagues at National Museums Liverpool. And today you've got a really, really incredible programme. I am really envious that I can't spend the entire day with you today. I have to go back down to our waterfront site later on. But you've got an incredible agenda of speakers today, including, I think, more international speakers than you've ever had here at ICOM before, which is really incredible and really important. I think we've seen since the start of this year, we live in a fairly uncomfortable and odd world at the moment. And the importance of listening to one another internationally has never been more important. So I think, the UK has always, of course, been an island in that sense. And I won't go on about Brexit because we could all move on from that point. But we've seen the impact of Brexit and the impact of a change in politics across the globe. And we as a museum sector need to counter that. And we need to keep speaking to one another internationally, because actually we're the people that represent our communities in those countries, and global communities can still speak to one another, and we need to make sure that we continue to do that. So it's incredible to see that you've got so many international speakers today. Your agenda looks fantastic. It's obviously a very, very important subject in terms of focusing around sustainability. And I hope you enjoy your time in Liverpool. What you will discover about Liverpool is it's a very walkable city, and it's a quite small city in lots of ways. So I was laughing last night that the Spine's miles away from where I live, and I live in the city centre because I live on the waterfront, and miles away is actually a 40-minute walk. So if a scouser tells you something's miles away, it's probably a 40-minute walk. It's quite a small city. You can kind of get around it really easily. You can walk it if you're fit enough and able enough to walk it. We have great public transport to be able to do that as well. I'm a big fan of our scooters. You'll see me scootering down to our waterfront in a minute. So enjoy the city while you're here. I hope that some of you get to spend some time in Liverpool. It's due to be lovely like this. I sound surprised about that, and I shouldn't. Liverpool, the sun always shines. It always looks like this. No, it is due to be lovely for the next couple of days. So I hope you really enjoy Liverpool and enjoy the city. You enjoy the conference and the speakers you've got here today. And most importantly, you enjoy that networking with one another that Christian was very keen to make you stop doing a minute ago. But I hope you get plenty of time to do that and you all enjoy that, because that's really the benefit of these type of conferences, isn't it? It's speaking to one another. So have a fantastic time. I might see you at the drinks reception later, but I hope you really have a fantastic day.
Thank you, Laura. I didn't introduce myself. My name is Baars, by the way. Some of you know me. I'm one of the two co-chairs for ICOM UK. My co-chair, Maria, where are you, Maria? At the front, there we are. That's, so on behalf of Maria and I and the entire board of ICOM UK, I'm delighted to welcome you to Liverpool for our 2025 annual conference. A couple of words about ICOM UK, because there's been a lot of things happening behind the scenes that some of you may not be quite aware of. So I've just wanted to use the opportunity to just rattle through some of these. We've come a very, very long way in the last 3 years. We've got a new governance structure, a new administrative model. We have a new strategic director, Christina. Where are you? Over there, Christina. He's just been with us for 2 months and is already making a massive impact. We have a strategy which we're currently in the process of launching, and jointly with a number of international partners, we are currently completing work on a very large project of the last couple of years to write a decolonization guide for Ukraine. And you'll hear more about that at tonight's evening reception. We're also shortly launching new thematic working groups, and those of you who are members in the UK are going to hear a lot more about that in the coming months. Our board itself is a lot more diverse than it ever was before, and we have now representatives of all 4 home nations of the UK, as well as the so-called overseas territories, which I'm personally really delighted by. Our new website and communication strategy now ensures that you're kept much better informed about our work and about news from the international museum sector, and I'm hoping that is coming through in the last few months. And perhaps it's no surprise then that since pre-COVID we've doubled our membership numbers in the UK. Looking ahead, we're just about to embark on a strategic piece of research in partnership with the British Council, and the ambition is to establish both the ambitions and the barriers to international working by UK museums and vice versa. So this is, we've just commissioned last week, actually, the consultancy undertaking this work with the report due early next year. And we hope that will result in a matchmaking exercise and a new sustainable, going forward, joint partnership models. And the latest opportunity, which is very hot and very live at the minute, because we just published it earlier this week, is that we're looking for 4 new trustees to join us at our AGM in July. So these roles are currently advertised on our website, and if you're interested, I would very much encourage you to check it out and speak to us, Maria, myself, the other board members that are here, about what this means. Enough of ICOM UK, now to this conference. So what do museums actually have to do with sustainability? What can we as small museum people do about the really big global problems, such as social inequalities and climate change? What does decolonization have to do with sustainability? And what even are regenerative practices, the theme of this conference? Some of you are here because you have a lot of very much lived experience in some of these subject areas. Others are here because you have a lot of questions about what museums can do to support sustainable development and regenerative practice. We developed this conference as an opportunity to bring those 2 groups together and share our knowledge and experience. We have, as Laura already said, more international speakers at this conference than we've ever had before, including also some alumni of the British Museum's International Training Programme who are here today, and some of them are speaking. Some of you have travelled halfway around the globe, and others will be here through the wonders of technology live on screen. And welcome to those of you as well who are not here in the room, but actually currently watching on computer screens. We're going to conduct this conference in a friendly and supportive environment because we want you all to have an enjoyable experience. We have a code of conduct that you'll find in your delegate pack that was emailed to you. And if you've got any accessibility or other requirements or any questions, concerns, please come and speak to us. Us, that means predominantly perhaps Katie, our conference coordinator. Katie, where are you? She might have just nipped downstairs because there's a couple of things to sort out, or myself or any of the board members. But Katie's phone number and email are also in your delegate pack, so you're welcome to phone her if there's any pressing issues and you can't find her. We're also here in this fabulous venue with amazing sustainability credentials where the staff look after us all through the day. We've got at the back here our two technicians, Jamie and Will, who are making sure that the technology runs smoothly and that we live streaming presentations into the room and out to those of you who are watching online. The catering team as well, Rothio and her team, are looking after your physical well-being out there. We've got the access. Actually, the access is the space where you just had your coffees and refreshments. We've got that throughout the day. And all food throughout the day, both today as well as in the evening reception, is going to be vegetarian, in line with our sustainability ambitions. We picked this venue very much on purpose because of its sustainability credentials. We've also only produced 2 sheets of paper, recycled paper, for each delegate on average. The venue itself is paperless. You're going to use a little bit of paper for tomorrow's workshops. And the other thing I need to say about the access actually is available. So the room across the corridor from here is available throughout the day. If you needed a quiet moment at any point, you're welcome to use that space during the sessions. There are 2 screens in that room, and what's happening in this space here will be live streamed into that room without sound. But you can, if you're having a meeting there or a quiet moment, you can still see where we are with the program and come back in at the appropriate time. Punctuality, I'm looking at my watch here already. Part of the pleasant experience is going to be punctuality. So we're going to do our best to make sure that each session starts on time and finishes on time, to ensure we have plenty of breaks, opportunity for networking, rest, refuel, and those social interactions that these in-person conferences are so important for. At the end of today, I'll say a few more words later on, but we're going to then walk down or catch a bus or a taxi to the waterfront for the evening reception at the Museum of Liverpool, which starts at 6 and finishes at 8. More on that later. Toilets are through this door here on your left. There's male toilets, female toilets, and gender-neutral disabled toilets as well. In case of a fire alarm activation, I'm told there are no test alarms scheduled for today, so if the fire alarm does go off, we're evacuating the building through either of the 2 doors that you've entered, and there are 2 sets of stairs in this part of the building, essentially. So please don't use the lifts in that case. If you've got concerns about mobility and using the lifts, please do speak to us. Our first break with snacks and coffee and tea will be at 11:40. And for now, for a couple of minutes, I'm inviting Ben Adams from one of our sponsors, Narro Associates, to the podium to say a few words. Narro Associates are represented with an information table right outside this room in the area that's called the flyover. And I want to encourage you to please go and speak to them throughout the event. But Ben, thanks.
Thank you, Christian. Morning, everyone. I am a structural engineer and a civil engineer and a conservation accredited engineer. And so why am I at this conference talking to you now is the question. I suppose it starts when I was a child and I loved going to museums. Loved going through to Edinburgh. You can tell I'm Scottish from the accent. Going through to Edinburgh on the train over the Forth Bridge, which is one of the reasons why I'm a structural engineer, with my grandparents during the summer holidays and going to the wonderful National Museum, or the Royal Museum as it was called then. So I loved museums before I became an engineer or even thought about that career path. Narro, when I joined it, had 6 people in it, and I've been there ever since I graduated, so that's quite a long time now, you can tell from the hair. But the key thing is that I've been privileged to work on some of the best museum upgrades and retrofits and refurbishments in Britain. And that goes for the National Museum of Scotland on Chamber Street in Edinburgh. It goes for the Burrell Collection in Glasgow, which was one of the most sustainable upgrades to an existing building for a museum purpose in Europe. We have just completed the first phase of the Scottish National Gallery upgrade, and we're going on to the second phase of that just now as well. We have now got over 100 people working for us, all these bright minds that are passionate about the built environment and also passionate about creating sustainable design practice for our whole industry. We're at the forefront of trying to petition government for changing VAT rules, for instance, on refurbishment. And the key thing that I want to just say today is that apart from us hosting a workshop tomorrow and having the table outside, is that we're passionate about museum buildings as well. It's one of our main work streams. It's one of the best and most interesting sectors of work that we can, that we're privileged to work on. So we know how museums work, we understand all the processes, and we understand all the pressures that you people that are in the midst of the museum as client bodies need to consider as part of any upgrade, refurbishment or new build project as well. And from the workshop tomorrow, the key thing is that from our perspective, sustainable design, retrofit practices, how you take an existing building and remould it and refit it and repurpose it for the future is critical for everyone to help tackle climate change going forward. And the key thing for me is that I have to be able to look my kids in the eye when they ask, what did you do about climate change, Daddy? I'm desperate that I don't just say, well, I kind of bowed my head and didn't do anything. I'm desperate that I can say I did as much as I could, and part of that was to help create sustainable buildings for the future. So enjoy the conference, and I'll hopefully catch up with you at some point soon. Thank you.
Thanks, Ben. We're absolutely delighted to have you on board here today, because it's, I spend a lot of time in my day job talking about the design of museum buildings and how to make them more sustainable. It is